The anime begins right in the middle of a wild shootout inside a building, where a horde of thugs is up against just one dude. These brainless goons throw everything they've got at him, but in seconds, our guy wipes them out like he's swatting flies. Enter Taro Sakamoto, a legendary assassin feared by criminals and worshipped by other assassins. The guy was the top dog, the goat of hitmen, until he fell head over heels in love. Taro traded in his assassin badge for a wedding ring, got hitched, had a kid, and let's just say he embraced the dad bod. Fast forward a few years, and now he's the friendly neighborhood convenience store clerk, working alongside his wife, Aoi. Life is pretty chill until one of his fanboy assassins, Shin, finally tracks him down. Meanwhile, at the store, Taro is manning the register, watching a kid play toy archery, promising a free juice if the kid hits the target. Spoiler alert, the kid misses by a mile. Things take a turn when the kid drops a jar of ink, splashing it all over some dude's pristine white pants. Mr. Clean Pants isn't having it and grabs the kid by the neck, ready to unleash his inner Hulk. Just when it looks like the kid's about to meet his doom, Taro intervenes. In his imagination, he stabs the guy's head with a pen. He just grabs the guy's fist, stopping him cold. The dude, scared straight, bolts, and the kid tearfully thanks Taro. Shin, lurking in the background, is in awe. He imagines Taro using a pen to hit the carotid artery like it's just another Tuesday. Shin introduces himself, a psychic assassin, and practically begs Taro to come back to the assassin world, flabbergasted that the legendary Hitman has swapped killing for cashiering. Taro, unfazed, makes it clear he's done with the assassin gig. Shin, frustrated, can't believe the legend has gone soft, trading his killer instinct for family life. He tries to drag Taro back, but Taro's already out, like way out. He's not about to swap his peaceful life for the bloody business of his past, no matter how much Shin pleads. The legend of Sakamoto might be alive, but his assassin days? Those are dead and buried. Taro is just about to enjoy a humble cup of ramen, which totally disappoints Shin. Back in the day, Taro thrived on combat rations, not this instant noodle stuff. Shin barely recognizes the once legendary assassin. Just as Shin pulls out a cigarette, ready to light up, wham! The cigarette gets sliced clean in half in a blink. Taro smoothly sheathes his blade, pointing to the no smoking sign like a responsible citizen. Shin, however, is stunned, realizing that chubby or not, Taro could take him out anytime with that lightning-fast reflex. Right then, a passerby greets Taro and asks for a favor. Shin, ever the suspicious assassin, assumes this is some covert hit request. Turns out, the man just needs help trimming an overgrown tree. Taro handles the branches in record time and then goes on a helping spree, making a girl eat her veggies and calming crying kids in the park. Shin watches, baffled, wondering if Taro has turned into the town's handyman, or if he's just insanely good at hiding his assassin side. Still, Shin can't help but comment on how ridiculous Taro looks now, thinking about leaving. But before he can, the kid from earlier accidentally shoots a toy arrow at Shin's head, sending the little troublemaker fleeing while Shin grumbles about his day. Later, Shin hops into his car, reflecting on the past 5 years since he last saw Taro. Despite the extra pounds, Taro still radiates that old assassin aura. Shin secretly hopes they can team up again, but his nostalgia is cut short by a call from his boss. When Shin admits he couldn't convince Taro to return, his boss coldly asks if he at least killed him. Shin hesitates, suggesting that Taro, now a chubby retiree, isn't much of a threat. But the boss isn't having any of it, reminding Shin of the gang's golden rule. Anyone who breaks away is erased from existence. If Shin doesn't handle Taro, someone else will, and Shin might end up on the chopping block too. The call ends, leaving Shin with no choice. He reflects on the good old days working with Taro, but knows if someone's got to do the job, it might as well be him, since Taro's fate is sealed either way. The next day, Shin storms into Sakamoto's store, yelling, "It's wartime!" Taro, calm as ever, is behind the counter, reading a newspaper. Shin walks up, acting like he's leaving town. Then, out of nowhere, he pulls out a gun and fires. But Taro spits out a cough drop, knocking the bullet away. Yep, Taro's not messing around. He throws a lollipop at Shin and vanishes. Shin, now confused, can't figure out Taro's next move. Taro distracts Shin by tossing something across the store, then grabs a bag of cough drops and a rubber band. He starts shooting cough drops at Shin, who dives and dodges all over the floor. Just when Shin thinks he's got a chance, Taro throws a bag of flour in his face, blinding him. As Shin stumbles, Taro kicks him across the store. Before Shin blacks out, he wonders, "Why did I think this was a good idea?" Shin wakes up in a bed, shocked to find he's still alive. Aoi and Hana cheer his recovery, explaining he's in a room above the store. Still dazed, Shin is dragged to a family dinner, where he's treated like one of their own. Paranoid, he suspects the food is poisoned, but trained to withstand poison, he digs in anyway. Turns out, the only thing that paralyzes him is how delicious the food is. Aoi, delighted, mentions he's reacting just like Taro did the first time. As Shin continues eating, he's baffled by how this feels nothing like his usual life. He finally understands Taro's motivation to protect these simple moments, realizing why Taro left the assassin world. After dinner, Shin thanks Taro for the meal and decides to leave him in peace. Taro, ever gracious, tells Shin he's welcome anytime. Shin departs, knowing he's still no match for Taro. Back with his boss, Shin faces ridicule for failing to kill Sakamoto. Before his boss can continue, Shin drops to his knees, pleading for Taro's life. The room erupts in laughter, but Shin insists that Taro now has a family. His boss, unmoved, reminds him that Taro broke the rules and must pay. Shin, in a desperate move, offers his own life in Taro's place, admitting he aimed his weapon at someone he admires. Surprisingly, the boss agrees, saying Taro will be spared if Shin takes the fall. But deep down, the boss has no intention of keeping his word. Shin thinks his boss is an idiot for even trying this. Right then, Shin points his gun at him, coolly letting him know he's heard everything and was never going to trust him. The boss is stunned, realizing that Shin really did read his mind. Flustered, he orders his men to take Shin out. In the chaos that follows, Shin moves like a ninja on adrenaline, dodging bullets and taking down goons left and right. Meanwhile, Taro is chilling at home, catching all the action through a radio broadcast. When the sound of gunfire fills the air, Taro calmly inputs a code into his cash register, transforming his cozy shop into a full-on armory. Casual as ever, he picks up a taser like it's just another day. Back in the fray, Shin is a blur of agility, evading and striking with precision. But even he starts to feel the burn, his energy draining fast. For a split second, he lets his guard down. Just as a sniper locks on, Shin dodges the shot and instantly locates the sniper's position. The boss, watching his men drop like flies, demands to know why they're getting wrecked by just one guy. One wounded thug croaks out that it's like Shin can predict their every move. But Shin is already a step ahead, ambushing them before they can even think. He's like a one-man army, ducking and weaving through bullets, then ducking behind cover to reload. That's when it hits him. He's down to his last magazine. Out of ammo and options, Shin knows he needs to find a way out before his luck and bullets run dry. With his last magazine, Shin fends off the enemy while darting around the battlefield like his life depends on it, because it does. Just when he thinks he's pulling off a heroic escape, bam! A bullet to the leg sends him crashing to the ground. Within seconds, he's surrounded, knowing full well there's no way out of this mess. As he prepares for the worst, Shin suddenly sees the three thugs pointing guns at him drop like sacks of potatoes. Enter Taro Sakamoto, casually wielding his trusty taser like it's a TV remote. The boss, seeing his goons fried, yells for the rest to take Taro down. They all charge at once, only to get clobbered with minimal effort. Taro swats them away like flies, using disposable chopsticks to stop two bullets and hurling one like a dart, knocking out a bunch of them. When another guy comes at him with a katana, Taro sidesteps with ninja-level speed and sends the attacker flying with a single kick. Two more baddies unleash a barrage of bullets, but Taro whips out a pair of pens to block them, then hurls the pens right back, taking them out. He MacGyvers his way through the remaining thugs with whatever's around, turning the place into a martial arts playground. In a final, desperate move, the boss and his few surviving minions aim to gun Taro down together. But before they can fire, Taro slices their weapons in half with blades he casually pulls from his apron, then takes them out with ease. Shin is left frozen in shock, finally realizing he's just witnessed the legendary assassin Taro Sakamoto in action. Dazed, he asks how Taro knew where to find him. Taro explains he planted a mic in Shin's gun the previous day when he passed out. Shin, still reeling, confirms he was actually planning to leave town for good today. Before he can utter another word, Taro tosses him an apron and says, You'll earn 800 yen an hour, and if you stay overtime, I'll throw in a bonus. Dumbfounded but with no better options, Shin finds himself working at Sakamoto's store, where Hana and Aoi welcome him like family. In no time, Shin settles into the role, accepting that, honestly, this gig beats dodging bullets for a living. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more anime recaps. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next episode.